The following show and its content are the responsibility of the show's producers and participants.
Information related in this program is not meant to substitute medical recommendations. Before starting a treatment program, you should consult your physician.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
That's right. Welcome to the Couch Live. Hello, everybody. It's a beautiful Friday here at WPSN99.com. I am the street-certified dope doctor, Louis Delgado, here with you at WPSN99.com, the problem-solving network, along with my partner, of course, the Dharma Guy Trinity Phillips. Hello, brother.
Hey, what is up?
You, man. You. What a day.
Yeah, it was
a lot of action.
Some craziness happening in the studio.
That was beautiful, man.
It was wild.
We just did
We were saving lives, too.
Man, you know what? You take for those of you that weren't listening to the show prior to the show, it was supposed to be just a pre-show.
Yeah, the show before the show.
But we ended up just going live. We just took over the station.
We did.
For a little bit of time.
We got it like that.
Because we do have the permission to
We have the power.
The power to do it. And so that's what we did. And I'm really glad we did, actually.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it worked out really well.
Impromptu live session there.
Right.
I like it.
Right.
That's how we operate best, though, anyways.
Absolutely.
We don't do well with scripted.
Right.
We kind of just need to show up and let us go.
I agree. And just to give everybody a little background, and I'll do it real quick, and then we'll get into the show, because it is Overdose Awareness Day, and so we'll get into that. But what happened was, UpLive, a new app that has come out here in the United States, UpLive USA, is a new streaming app, and we've been doing it because they came to us and approached us. It's Brett TV came to us and approached us and said, you guys should be doing this, and we've been doing it, and it's been going really well. People from all around the world get to experience what we do. Like right now we're streaming, and there's, we got 2,000 or 3,000 right now that are watching, and so that's pretty cool. And then, on top of that, they brought in some people. They had Johnny Mac Sax, who's a saxophone player.
That dude is so good.
That dude is a good sax. That was the music you were just listening to.
Man.
Johnny Mac
I'm going to go to iTunes and get that.
Yeah.
Actually, to be honest with you.
For real. And don't ask me how to tell you how to get there, because that was a long...
Yeah, you got to stand on one foot, rub your belly, tap your head.
Yeah, it's a long name.
But it was good, though.
Yeah, Johnny Mac Sax. And then, of course, Mimi from WOKB here locally was here as well. So anyway, but we were going to do a show... This is the weirdest. So if you tuned in and you thought, well, I'm going to listen to a show on internet addiction, because not internet, gaming addiction.
I knew at least one person that I told that was going to try to listen today too.
Yeah, that was the plan. That was the plan. That we were going to do internet addiction,
gaming addiction,
gaming. I'm sorry, gaming addiction. That's what we were going to do. And then instead,
our wonderful sponsors,
right,
Retreat Premier Addiction Treatment Centers,
right,
said, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Today's Overdose Awareness Day. Like, what's more important than that? Like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Exactly. Then if we get this call, let us know that it's it's a special day, a different kind of day.
Yeah. And you know what? I knew that because I've seen people putting it up on their profile pictures on Facebook. It's like a purple little thing, and it says Overdose Awareness Day. And so I didn't think of it as far as the show's concerned, because we are already talking about the gaming one, and we're reaching out to different like EA Sports and all that to try to get them on there.
Yeah, because there's a lot going on with
there's
that.
There's a huge thing going on with that. But I think I don't know. I think
this is just a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a better decision here.
Well, we did here. First of all, I apologize. I can't believe that being in this business this long, almost 30 years in this business, 28 years, and me not knowing it was Overdose Awareness Day.
We'll give you some slack.
And Tom Garofolo,
I love that
from
dude.
Retreat Premier Addiction Treatment Centers, calls and busts me for it
in the nicest way. because he was on air.
Yeah.
You know what you should have done is you should have told him after he said it.
I should have
so
told
you
him.
could have heard the truth.
I should have told him after.
Because he would have been like, "What is wrong with you?"
Right.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. I love him. He's a good interview, man.
For him to, he didn't know we were live on the air when he called.
No, he did not.
And he was like, "What are you doing?"
Yep.
You know, and granted, like Trinity said, I mean, the big things are going on with that.
Yeah.
Because
and here locally,
because
of
the Jacksonville. Yeah. But anyway, so that's what we're talking about. And then, of course, the Grasshopper, he's doing a class in Spanish right now or something like
really?
that. He's doing something in Spanish.
Dude's always at school. I give him
He's
credit.
he's a student, man.
He's gonna be a doctor, man.
He's a student. And he's going to be a doctor, and so we got to let him do what he does. But good for him on that. But anyway, so welcome here on the Couch Live, and so let's get into it. So it's Overdose Awareness Day.
Yes.
Now, I got to admit, Trinity, I know nothing about this.
It says here it's a global event held on August 31st each year to raise awareness of overdose and reduce the stigma of drug-related. And I'm waiting for my internet to load.
Is that why you're reading like that? Because you're reading kind of weird.
I'm waiting for it to load.
You were doing one of those reading like when you know it is the what was that about?
I was waiting for it to load.
Yeah,
I'm only about halfway.
That was good.
Right
You're
now,
winning.
So
You're winning.
I'm trying.
But you know, what's weird is we've participated in this in the past years, and we knew about it in the past years. But for some reason, Trinity, I don't even know not one event locally. And how is that when we belong to Orange County Coalition for a Drug-Free Community? Well, I'm the chairperson for that community.
Well, we kind of missed the last few meetings.
I missed the
We've been traveling. We've been gone.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Well, the last one, I think we were in Bristol. We were in Tennessee, so. But we were doing good work up in Tennessee, though.
We were.
We were talking to the chief of police up there.
We were doing good work.
Trying to bring some good things to Tennessee. So
right.
We at least we didn't miss it because we were just playing around. We missed it because we were actually doing work.
Right. So, but the serious thing is I'm glad it's recognized by a day. But in reality,
shouldn't it be every day?
It's every day.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's part of it. And I'll be honest, man. Like I said it earlier when we were on the phone with Tom and we were on live.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't really think of overdose awareness. I try not to dwell on those, to be honest with you.
Right.
Because we've had several come in and out that I've heard of, and a lot of them I knew personally. You know, being in the groups with them and whatnot.
Right.
And so when you guys were talking about it earlier, when Tom was on, I couldn't help but to just reflect, like he was saying, even. And I remember the very first one. I could say his name because we did a show. It was Connor.
Well, no, we also got permission from the mom to use his name in public.
So Connor for me was my first overdose or death.
Yeah.
And it hit me hard, I think, because it didn't hit me hard as far as tear me up horribly.
Right.
But for me, it was my introduction to this business. He was one of the first clients I really kind of got to know.
Right.
I saw myself in him. I saw some similar traits, whatever, and we bonded a little bit. When he got out of treatment, he came to Orlando and went to some of my groups here, and he was just a good kid, man.
Yeah.
And so to find out that happened and the way it happened, I was just like, dang. It was my first one, and so it was just I'll remember that forever. I still have his text message he sent me 2 days before.
Wow.
I don't know why I just can't delete it. It was just I think it keeps me focused, to be honest with you. But so, and then I started thinking some of the other ones. There was I won't say the name, but there was a girl that you and I drove to downtown or International Drive, pulled somebody out of a hotel.
We were doing a rescue.
Yeah,
we did a rescue together.
And then to find out years later, she's no longer with us as well.
Correct.
So there's quite a few that popped to my head.
Right.
And I was getting a little down, to be honest with you. I was getting a little down. I was like, I don't want to think of all this right now. And then you saved the day when you came through. It's like, well, hold up. The other half of that is it works. There are plenty of people.
Works. Yeah.
And so that made me think of all the people that I know who have reached out to me and you and others that we know who have, who've benefited from what we do.
Right.
And then I think that for me is what helps keep me going.
Right.
That's what kind of motivates me to put the word out because it is possible. For everyone that I know that has passed, I can name 2 or 3 that have made it. And I like those. I like those statistics. I want to make it even better. But I like the fact that I know more that have made it than have passed.
Right.
And I want to keep that party going.
And I think that's the big thing is to keep reminding people that recovery is possible and it does work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That you don't have to die from this.
No.
That this doesn't have to be a terminal issue. And like you said, we know a lot of names. And I like that you bring up Connor because Connor's the one, I think he's probably the only one that I've ever communicated with the mom and asked for permission to use the name
Right.
in public. And the reason we asked for that kind of permission was because Connor was a young man that actually had 6 months sober.
Yeah.
Connor actually had 6 months clean and was doing well. Connor was going to meetings.
He
Connor
came to
had
my
a
groups.
sponsor. Connor was doing above and beyond what you could do in recovery. Connor was this young guy in college, away from his home state. He was doing the deal.
Yeah.
And Connor that night before the overdose called me and asked for help. And when he asked for help, the reason he was asking for help is because he was placed on Suboxone. And what he was asking for was, I need to get off Suboxone because people in my recovery group are saying that I'm not clean and sober.
Right.
And it was a hard phone call because I could hear him tearing up and crying about it. And I was trying to tell Connor, just because you're on a medication doesn't mean you're not clean and sober. The rooms have no opinions on outside issues. They're not your physician.
No.
These people are not your doctors. You are doing the deal. You're going early. You're staying late. You've got a sponsor. You're working the steps. You are in recovery. Don't let them tell you this right now. You will be weaned off this. He goes, well, I need to get off it now. And I said, well, Connor, man, please. Let's talk about this. I said, come into the office tomorrow. We'll do an aggressive taper if we have to. Get you with the doctor tomorrow. Let's get you set up. And if you really need to get off this, then we'll taper.
Right.
But don't just stop doing it. And he goes, no, I threw it away. I don't have any left. I'm not doing it anymore. I can't. And so the morning came and Connor didn't. Then Connor's mom called me up from New York and asked me if I had heard from him. And I said, yes, I did the night before. And I told her about the conversation. And then she did a wellness check on him. And then I got a phone call a couple hours later that said that Connor had been found dead in his apartment. So I immediately went to the apartment and found out that it was true, and that he had died. That he had somehow, instead of getting more Suboxone to at least make the night, he was so tore up he ended up getting heroin instead of Suboxone for the night. So somehow, some of us within the recovery community did not let him feel like he was doing the right thing, shamed him for what he was doing. And then he went out and got heroin instead. And so I thought that story was so important of a story for people in recovery to know and people to know in general that I asked for permission to use Connor's story in future references and all that stuff. So thank you to Connor for your sacrifice, unfortunately. But there's a lot of Connors out there.
Too many.
There's a lot of them.
Too many.
And we know quite a few of them. And so, we wanted to talk about it today, and that's why we rearranged everything today from what we were going to talk about. Even though the shooting in Jacksonville is horrible, gaming addiction does need to be discussed because there's really no resources for it.
There isn't.
We found only one treatment center that says they even specialize in it.
And they're on the West Coast.
Right, which is why we reached out to Retreat, because we trust them so much, and said, hey, by the way, do you guys get phone calls on this? Because the other treatment center says they have a waiting list.
Yeah.
So if they have a waiting list,
how many people are calling?
Are you guys getting calls and having to turn them away? You know what I mean? Like, and who do you use? Maybe there's another treatment center we just don't know about.
Right.
And we wanted to be able to give you guys resources, those of you that watch this, because there's a lot of people that deal with this and wondering, is my son or daughter developing a gaming addiction because they don't shower, eat, and blah, blah, and all the stuff that we're going to talk about at the next show that we are going to do.
Well, and it gives us time to get some more good quality guests on here too. So
and we do need to find. So if you if you're that professional or a professional that focuses on game addiction, please reach out to us.
Yeah, please,
because we're gonna need that. But in the meantime, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk to Peter Shore today.
Yeah,
like in a minute or two. We love Peter. Peter's wife is from El Paso, my hometown.
I think I remember you saying something like that. Yeah.
So I got a little special place in my heart for Peter in Retreat. Not just because of Tom, and Tom is the shizzle.
Right.
But because...
the whole group over there is cool, though.
And I do love John Shooter. John Shooter's awesome. I just saw him yesterday.
My favorite thing about John's, I remember we were driving up to, I think it was Kentucky.
Yeah.
And it was during the World Cup. And we got him on the phone to talk about his English losing there.
Yeah,
he was not happy.
No, man, the English take the World Cup very seriously, brother.
That was the only time to hear the stress in that man's voice.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, you are not doing good right now, bro. Go ahead and watch your game, man. Or your match, I should call.
There you go. So, yeah, we love everybody at Retreat, Marissa included. Marissa does the deal over there, man.
Yeah.
Juggling kids, juggling family, juggling business, juggling people like me, juggling people like Tom. You got to give it to her, man. So, anyway. So, let's call him up.
Let's do it.
I guess I'm going to have to call him on here. I just didn't even think about that. So, Up Live, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to disconnect from you. Because I got to get Peter on the line.
Well, if they want to keep watching.
You can go to the Dharma Guy. If it cuts you off, by the way, go to the Dharma Guy. Where's the phone thing?
Here it is.
Go to the Dharma Guy and watch it on Up Live at the Dharma Guy. It's still going to be live there. Okay? But
I think you can keep it on and talk.
It might still work. I don't know. Let's see what happens. I'm going to see what happens. All right, so let's call Peter up right now.
Right on.
This is Peter Shore, CEO of Retreat Premier Addiction Treatment Center. If I can figure out how to use a phone. There's the keypad. All right, now I got to look up the number here. I got to do all kinds of things. Just do it. Can you fill space up for me, Trinity, so I can just do what I got to do over here? Yeah, that's the way. That's the way you fill up space, Trinity. There you go.
Well, I got to keep it down, right? We upset our neighbor earlier.
We did.
We were bad neighbors.
We almost.
We had our saxophone player in here belting out some cool sax tunes.
We almost got evicted.
And he came over here knocking on the window. Keep it down. Keep it down.
All right.
So here's my lawn.
That's right. Let's get Peter.
Hello.
Peter, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Lou?
All right. This is Peter Shore, CEO of Retreat Premier Addiction Treatment Centers, right here on WPSN99.com with, of course, me, Louie, the Dope Doctor, and Trinity Phillips, the Dharma Guy. You're live on the air, Peter.
How you doing, guys?
What's up?
We're doing awesome, man. You know, thanks to you guys for keeping us straight today.
I know. I heard you guys were busy with your gaming today. But.
You know, Peter, I mean, you know, it takes a while sometimes to set up a show, and that Jacksonville thing just kind of made us finally do the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here we go calling you guys
we
because
picked, like the worst day to do the show.
We're calling our friends, and it's like nobody specializes in gaming addiction.
Right.
You know, it's like one treatment center. It's like, well, I don't know them. I don't want to talk to them. We don't know them, Peter. We know you guys. And then we call you guys, and then Tom busts me over here. Says, "What are you, an idiot, Louie?"
He told me to tell you that he was busy playing games today.
That's awesome.
Oh man, he's probably like on Call of Duty or Destiny 2.
Tommy couldn't play a game if you spotted him and all the things that you need to do it.
That's awesome. So anyway, Peter Shore, CEO, by the way, married to an El Paso, a Chuco.
Right on.
That's what makes Peter even more special because he's married to someone from El Paso. She does call El Paso.
Today's it's a solemn day. It's a reflective day. It's the National Awareness of Overdose Day, and it's really something that hits home to everybody we know. I mean,
right.
It's I don't know anybody who doesn't know someone who knows someone, or actually knows someone who died of an overdose.
Right. I mean,
72,000 people last year.
That's the number, huh?
Ridiculous, man.
72,000 people. That's more people than died in the Vietnam War.
That's a huge number.
That's
crazy.
And that's 1 year.
Yeah, and that's the people that actually the coroner says that they died of an overdose.
Yeah,
and that's just overdoses. So can you imagine the people who died from medical problems, from their
suicide,
addiction, from accidents that happen because of their addiction?
Yeah,
it's a terrible thing out there. It's something that needs to be addressed and needs to be something done about it. And facilities are trying. We're fighting a battle. It's never ending.
Right. And I think that's the key, right? Is like letting people know that if you're out there and you have yet to know somebody firsthand that has suffered an overdose, that it's coming. So look around.
Yeah.
Look around, because somebody right now around you is suffering.
Yeah. I mean, it's heartbreaking. I mean, I just lost someone, 4 days ago that I'd known for 10 years that battled her addiction and it just, overcame her and at 28 years old passed away. It's just,
oh man, I'm sorry, Peter.
It's a sad thing. It's being in the industry, we hear it all the time. 3-4 times a week we hear someone, young person, older person, whoever it is, that passes away from their addiction, and it never gets easy going. Oh, well, it was their addiction. You know what? They're a human being and they have a disease like anyone else, and it's just it's heartbreaking.
Right.
Heartbreaking. And
Right.
I can't even imagine having a child that you lose to a disease of addiction like these parents are losing now. And it's just, again, we need to do something about it as a society before it gets totally out of hand, which it already is a little, but I mean, it could get worse.
Right.
That's the frustrating part, right? I mean, that's what
It is.
you and I were talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
I got to be careful so I don't get on my soapbox here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think I called Louis yesterday, and we were talking about the gaming thing and about the show, and we talked about a couple other things, and one of the things that was mentioned was, like, me as a kind of a relative newcomer to this world. I mean, I've been here for, God, I don't know, 7 years now, maybe. It's frustrating. It's really, really frustrating when you realize how much addiction as a whole impacts the whole world right now.
Right.
In every facet, right? You have the illicit drug use, obviously, drugs and alcohol.
Right.
But then, I talked about, like, a lot of the heart attacks and things of that nature are
Right.
also because of, addictions to different substances that might not be illegal.
Right.
Addiction, we looked one time, and out of the top 10 causes of death, like 8 of the top 10 could be attributed to addiction of some sort.
Yes.
So it is literally like the number one problem in the world, and yet nobody talks about it really.
Is that nobody?
Well,
The number one killer for 18 to 25-year-olds is overdoses.
Yeah,
Wow.
and yet, and like it's not like
It's hardly discussed.
like we talked about. What was it? Zika? No, Ebola. 3 people died of Ebola, and it was everywhere. You would have thought there was
all
people,
over the news.
You would have thought there was people dying in the streets and just stepping over them and stuff. 3 people
Yeah.
died.
Oh, dude, Zika hit, and it's like we almost all had medication in our cabinets.
In the time we've
Because of
had
that.
this discussion, 3 people have already died from an overdose.
Damn straight.
And it's not being talked about, really.
That's right.
And it's still the stigma of it's their fault that that's happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they had, but you know what? I was telling a story. I flew home from the West Coast a couple of months ago, and sitting next to me was a former colonel from Special Forces, and we were talking about what we do, and he asked me what I did for a living, and I told him, and he was like, questioning, what I do, what I believe in, and he was saying, yeah, but it's their choice to become addicts, and whatever happens to them. And I said, you know what? Someone who smokes cigarettes, they get lung cancer. It was their choice to smoke cigarettes, but does that mean we throw them away because they have a disease? I mean, we take care of it. If someone who didn't eat properly their whole life and they're obese or whatever it is, and they get diabetes, what do we say to them? Do we say, take care of you?
Yeah.
No. I mean, no one uses drugs to become a drug addict.
No.
That's the byproduct of it, and unfortunately, that's what happens. Yeah, it's behavior that we shouldn't have done, but we do a lot of things we shouldn't have done. That doesn't mean that we don't take care of our own.
That's right.
Well, what other thing?
And that's what happened. And he said to me, he goes, I never looked at it that way. Now that you're, and again, that's about education.
Right.
Talking about someone who in their mind would preconceive that it's an addict's fault that they became addicts, and that's what happened. So it used to be like years ago when HIV and AIDS first come, people was the gay people are getting it's their fault. No, it's not their fault. That's not the way to treat humans. We're human beings. We take care of our own.
Yeah.
And then he didn't realize that. And after we had that discussion, he actually apologized to me and said, now I understand what you're doing.
That's really
That's
cool.
awesome. Well, that's the thing that irritates me too, right? Is the whole idea of kind of like they deserve it because they chose to do it or something, right? Like, what other bad choice have we made as kids that we have to pay for our life? Right, like what I mean, like I made bad decisions when I was a kid, but they go away. I don't have to deal with it forever.
I
and
make
it doesn't
bad
kill
decisions as an adult.
I make them now.
Does that mean that you're thrown away because you made a bad decision?
It's ridiculous.
I mean, these are people who are productive, and we could be throwing away someone who could develop the cure for cancer, and develop the cure for something else. You never know. People who suffer from addiction. Or everybody in every day of life in every form. They could be doctors, they can be lawyers, they can be scientists, they can be teachers, they can be anything. So we got to be careful by using that terminology and just think, let's not take care of them. It was their fault they did it.
Yeah, and pain is real, and suffering is real, and it's not for us to determine how much pain someone else is feeling. And then they get something that they're used to getting, and they think they got it from a trusted source, and they think that it's the same amount or less of an amount. You don't expect for somebody to put mixing in fentanyl in something you're using, or high levels of fentanyl, or carfentanil even worse. Right. I mean, if we start, at least here in Orange County, when we dissect, well, why are these overdoses on the rise? It's not just that opiates on a rise. It's the rise of fentanyl.
Yeah.
You see what happened in New Haven, Connecticut a couple weeks ago?
Oh, my God.
95 people overdosed on K2.
What was that, Peter?
That's someone who wants to kill people is what happened.
Right?
And fentanyl now has found its way into marijuana.
Yes.
It's found its way into cocaine. It's like, it's people just, they don't care.
Right.
They don't care. And I've always told people, especially people who are opiate abusers, and I said, unless you go to Afghanistan and pick that poppy off that tree,
right.
you don't know what you're putting in your arm.
Right.
Yeah.
You have no idea what's in that.
Right.
Oh, but I know my dealer. He's awesome.
Right.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we did a show on that.
Yeah.
Billy making our Tylenol. Listen, you guys are actually creating a center over there. Don't you have a new center coming up in Connecticut?
Yeah, we're going to be opening in New Haven in a couple months.
Right.
But, right down the street, actually, from where that
Really?
happened. Yeah, literally right down the street.
Oh, wow. So
it's mine. But when I was first looking at the property in Connecticut, someone told me I was a nursing home. And it was closed down. It was, in disarray. And I went there, and the guy told me there's a key box to open, get the key out and then just open the door and go in and look at the facility.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that. I open the door. I walk in, and I hear an alarm about to go off. So I call the guy. I go, what's the code for the alarm?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, what alarm? I go, the one that's going to go off right now. And the alarm goes off, and the police come, and they said, what are you doing here? And I said, well, I'm looking at this facility, I'm thinking about opening a drug and alcohol facility. He goes, I'll go down the street and get your patients right now if you want.
Oh,
wow.
It's that random.
It's that bad.
That's what happened to us in Bristol, remember?
That is what happened to us in Bristol.
Yeah, we met the police chief and told her what we do, and she was immediately like, can you help me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that a trip, Peter? We're sitting we're going to a race, for our truck, the Now Matters More Foundation number 7 truck. In the NASCAR race, and the police chief is right next to us, and we say hi to her, tell her what we do, and she says, I got money, I need help though, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, well, you know what? Police are not our enemies, I'm telling you.
No.
Police don't know what to do, and
They
they're
don't.
looking for good facilities that, they don't want to throw someone in jail who has a drug and alcohol problem. They want to get people to help, but it's just they don't have that access and what we're trying to do, and this is something that we've been concentrating on the last year, is getting out there and educating as many people as we can.
Right.
It's not just about getting people. It's educating the people, the family members, everyone, because everyone still thinks you can just tell someone stop doing something.
Right.
And it's not so easy. If it was that easy, we wouldn't be on this phone call right now. We'd be talking about gaming.
100%.
I had to throw that in. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're awesome. Yeah, and and I just want to interject a second here, because I want to tell you guys, there's a lot of people that don't put their money where their mouth is. This man, Peter Shore, and it does put the money where the mouth is. I'm telling you, this guy's been more and more involved as I've gotten to know Retreat and him personally, as far as like watching what he's doing. The messages are always about the disease. The messages are always about, here's a problem. We may not be your solution, but we are a solution. But it's not about Retreat. It's about, educate yourself about the problem.
Actually, you know what?
That's exactly right.
I follow them on social media and stuff, and vice versa. And it's either about the disease itself, because they post a lot of articles and things of that nature, like informative stuff.
Right.
I've never seen them once saying, "Hey, come to us." I say, "Look, this is the problem. This is what we do." And then I think it was yesterday or the day before, I was really, really impressed, to be honest, now that we bring it up.
Right.
They posted pictures of like every single one of their staff members.
Oh,
and gave them like some airtime. Like, that was amazing to me. Like, that was really cool, thanking the people who help do what they do.
Oh, they do a yearly picture every year, too. It's really cool. They kind of go to both places and do the whole staff thing.
I saw one, they had them all out like in the, they were all dressed in black, and they were out in like a field or something.
Yeah.
And each one of them had their like little moment, and I bet you that means a lot to them.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, you know what? Each one of those staff members has dedicated their lives, and it doesn't matter what position you're in. And some people don't have direct contact with patients, but what they do directly affects patients' lives. Yeah. And I want everyone to know that, and especially who work for us and in the field, not just work for us, that what you're doing is contributing to saving someone's life. It's so important. And I want them to feel that way. I want them to realize that you are saving someone's life with what you do. I don't care if you're serving food, you're cleaning a toilet, you're billing something, you're doing whatever it is, it directly affects someone's life. It's very important.
You know, speaking of that, I heard that even your transport people carry Narcan.
Yeah, I mean, and guess what? They've saved many lives already with it. Our transportation department is unbelievable.
Wow.
I mean, they have put themselves in harm's way to save someone's life because it's important to them. It's important. A lot of them are in recovery. A lot of them, it's just important to them that they're going to make a difference.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Because there's still a lot of people out there that don't really understand the whole Narcan deal. Can you talk about a little bit why Retreat chose to arm its staff with Narcan and what Narcan is for them?
Sure. I mean, what we do is we've trained our not only our transportation, but our transportation people are the first people that when they pick up a patient, they're in all different, stages of what they've been using. So, a lot of times we found, we've had to get there and we've had to call 911, and sometimes it's, we don't have that time. So why not start it right away if we're possible, if we can? I mean, our first choice, you've got to call 911. That's important.
Right.
But now they're armed with something that if they see something, it's not going to hurt someone if they didn't need it. That's what's good about it.
Right.
But if they do need it, it could save their life. So they were going to administer a dose of Narcan, which actually takes someone out of withdrawal. I mean, not withdrawal, but overdose. And enough of it can save their life, and that's what happens a lot of times.
Right.
And they're all trained in that, and thank God it's happened a few times already where our drivers have had to save someone's life. And you want to know the weird part about it?
Wow.
I had one driver save someone's life. I mean, the guy the patient was so mad at him for doing it, for getting rid of his head.
Wow.
I mean, but you know what? I don't care. We saved your life.
Yeah.
You can be mad all you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least you're alive to be mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And later down the road, when you think about it, and when you get clean and sober and you realize, you know what? They saved my life. What was I thinking about?
And that's so important. I think that a lot of times, when we're just sitting back and you're not, let's say you're watching this or you're listening to this and you don't feel like you're personally in the mix, like you don't have a dog in the fight. Well, we're kind of hoping that you understand why you do need to know this, because there was a guy that owns a few McDonald's here in Orlando that comes to our golf tournament every year. And when we gave out Narcan, he was trying to give it back and say, here, give it to somebody who really needs it, thinking he's doing a good thing. He thought he was doing a good thing by saying, here, give it to somebody else who needs it. Yeah. I don't know anybody that uses heroin. It's just going to be a waste giving it to me. And we said, wait a minute. You own McDonald's. Yeah. That means you have bathrooms. And there's a lot of people that die in bathrooms, public restrooms. Actually, you need it more than a lot of other people. Yeah. Because if you train your staff to know that if they go into the bathroom or hear of anyone in the bathroom that fell out, you can administer this. It's not gonna, like you said, Peter, it's not gonna hurt them if they didn't, but it could save a life if they did.
Yep. That's right. And again, it's about education. Right. It's about people understanding what this disease is about. And making a difference, and standing up. You want to help people. You don't want people to suffer. Right. I mean, I'm speaking for myself, and I'm sure a lot of people have that same feeling. And no matter what it is, I mean, look, you don't want people to suffer. Pain is horrible in every way, not just physical pain, but emotional pain is scarring. And a lot of us have seen that in our life, and I don't want that for anyone.
Right. Now, what are some of the challenges that you guys face? Because you've now grown pretty large. I mean, you have now 3 facilities in a time where all that stigma that we're talking about and all the things that are going on with the insurance companies and the readjustments and all that stuff.
I mean, our biggest challenge is every day a new facility is open. Someone goes to treatment, they decide, I can open a facility. So like every day something's popping up, and it's not the level of care that people need to start. Right. And there are good programs that open up. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of places that open up that do great work. There's places where people have worked for me and gone places, opened up, did a great job. Right. But that's not what's going on in the majority. Is this people going in for a short period of time? They think they're going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's detrimental to someone's care.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, again, it's always when someone comes in with the disease of addiction, it's a life-threatening disease because at any time they can die from their disease.
Right.
So if you don't have the right people, you don't have the right training, you don't do the right thing, you know, what are you doing for these people? Nothing. You're nothing. You're hurting them. And you know, what we try to do is we're trying to come up with some kind of formula where, you know, you can rate systems and you can rate facilities and see that they're, you know, it used to be the Joint Commission was the gold standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Joint Commission, you know, it's
right.
You know, they're inundated with facilities opening up, so you know, there's a lot of places that have that gold seal that really shouldn't happen.
I saw that down in South Florida for sure.
Yeah, and that's what's happened. So, you know, as a provider and one of the premier facilities that, you know, again, speaking for myself, but
yeah,
I'd like, you know, and I don't want people to have to pay for that. I want people to be able to see and vet places out that are going to be good for their family member.
Well, that's what,
I want to send my family member somewhere. I want to know it's good.
Well, that's what we do at the Now Matters More Foundation, I think. I mean, that we go and personally meet facilities. We talk to the physicians. We talk to the clinical staff. We meet ownership whenever possible. We talk to clients whenever possible, people that have gone through the program, and that's how we vet the programs and send referrals out. If they don't meet that standard, they're not going to get referrals from the Now Matters More Foundation if they don't pass, you know, those kinds of things. We also ask people how, you know, that first phone call, how was it? Because sometimes people only make one phone call. That window of opportunity is so short, it's so small, you know. And
I mean, that's a challenge for, you know, our admissions department. You know, we have a great admissions department,
right.
And you know, they get these calls, and people are hesitant. They're afraid. You know, going to something new, doing something new, it's scary. And they got to talk them. You know, they got to take them up the ledge and tell them, you know, it's in your best interest.
Right.
And you know, and then when they first go out there and have to, you know, transportation department, you know, the whole ride in, they're telling them, you know, what's going to happen, you know, what you can look forward to. You know, it kind of, you know, sets the tone for when they come into treatment. You know, if your first two experiences are good, you know, then we don't have to battle and worry about that, because you get limited time anyway about how long you can treat a patient. So if you have to deal with all external things before you get to the nitty gritty of it, it's a waste of time.
Yeah. And you know, and that's a show that, to be honest with you, Peter, we want to do with you in the future, is to talk about some of the changes in insurance world, because unfortunately, a lot of the people that we do refer out to treatment are now only getting coverage for 7 or 14, not even 14 days of real coverage. You know, to be forced to go into network, which is great, that's fine. But then by going in network, now you're forced to kick someone out or be done at 7 days. Or 10 days is just a difficult for people like you who are in the business for the real deal. Like, you really want to give them the whole treatment experience, and that it just makes you condense everything that you're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's a challenge. I mean, our challenge, and we have a great utilization department that fights with insurance company tooth and nail to get people more time. And they do a really good job with it. So, you know, our average length of stay would be, you know, 22 days, where most places would be, you know, like you say, 10 to 12 days.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they do a great job. And we have all levels of care.
Right on.
Where you know, and I hate to say this, but these places that are detox only.
Right.
You know, that whole thing is they go to detox, and then where are they going? They're not going to an inpatient facility. They're going to an outpatient facility.
Yeah. So
a kid shooting 40 bags of heroin up north is getting sent down to Florida, going to 3 to 5 days to a detox center, and then is put into a PHP house where they have no structure and it's freedom.
Yeah.
I mean, not all the places like that, but a lot of it. And it's just, what happens there? That's a recipe for failure. I know when I was a kid, if they did that to me, I'd be dead.
Oh, and I was fogged up. I was fogged up for a long time, to be honest with you. It took me 4 years to not even be angry, so I can imagine having to speed everything up in 15 days or 30 days.
Yeah. And, you know, and these kids down here, they've been through the cycle so much, so it's such a battle to keep them in treatment, because they just, you know, they've been through it so many times in different levels, And, you know, it's unfortunate recidivism is part of this disease.
Absolutely.
But if you think about it, just like anything else, you know, if you have cancer and you go into remission, sometimes, unfortunately, it comes back. And if you have diabetes, if you don't have it under control, sometimes you have to go back to the hospital to regulate things. You know, like I say, you got to understand the disease aspect of it. And it's unfortunate. You know, insurance companies go, oh, they've been there many times. They don't need to go back again.
Right.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean? So that means you're just saying you're giving them a death sentence, is what you're saying.
Right.
Because they've been there many times. So it's you know, again, about education and talking about it and really getting it out in the public. You know, like what you're doing on the radio, and many people and thousands of people listen to this, and now they're going to think and go, wait, maybe I should learn a little more about this, so I have an understanding, and not just, you know, have stuck in my way and saying, oh, it's their fault, you know, don't worry about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, can you just imagine your elderly mom or something like that having heart issues, and the doctor saying, you know what, for 3 years now, you haven't gotten your cholesterol straight, and you still have high blood pressure, you're just not eating correctly, you're not working out, you're not doing anything I asked you to do, so we're just cutting you off.
Right.
Can you imagine
the riots in the streets?
Can you imagine what people would do if our elderly were getting cut off because they still had some sort of issue that they didn't change their behavior for?
Yeah. You know, we read about in the papers every day, and you read about it on the internet, about the opioid crisis and what government is doing about it, and things like that. And they're trying to control big pharma. Right. But that's not what the problem is. Problem, you know, that could be a start of someone. You know, they use prescription drugs for a little while, and then they go to heroin. Right. What are we doing about the heroin coming in the United States? What are we doing about the insurance companies that aren't giving people the time they need to get themselves well?
Right.
What are we doing about educating people about the disease of addiction? Those are things that we need to look at. That's going to make a difference in this society when we look at all those things as a society and go, you know, let's try to fix this, but let's try to fix it right. Let's not just put Band-Aids on something, because that's not going to work.
And I'm glad you brought up the legal system earlier as well, because the legal system, as far as we've been interacting with, and we interact with quite a few of them, they can't arrest ourselves out of it. They can't arrest us out of this, and they're doing a phenomenal job of now carrying Narcan. They're doing a phenomenal job of bringing people like us in to talk to large groups of law enforcement. I've already spoken to federal law enforcement, local law enforcement, FDLE. I've spoken to all different levels of law enforcement, even the DEA guys. I spoke to undercover agents. So they're bringing us in to as experts to speak on these problems, yet our healing system is going backwards. Our healing system is actually going in reverse and giving less and less opportunity for people to get better.
Yeah, they don't want to arrest people. That's not what they want to do. But their hands are tied because
they are.
You know, what are they supposed to do? Especially if you know, chronic relapsers, they're abusing. In our society, it's against the law to use drugs.
Right.
So, you know, but instead, and I got to tell you something. There's a lot of police departments and police officers that, you know, and they'll go, you know what, let me take you to treatment.
Right.
You know, and that's someone, you know,
100%.
they care, but they don't know what to do either because their hands are tied.
Right.
So, you know, we need to work together and find a solution where we can get these people the help they need. A lot of it's going to be long term.
Right.
You know, especially these young kids who are chronic relapsers, you know, they'll go a week at a time, but they need to go long term away.
Yes. You know,
and that'll help them.
Right.
Not in jail. They need to go to a facility.
And, you know, and the sad thing is the stories that we hear from law enforcement, the reason they're so now invested in what we do and they're so appreciative when we go speak, they come up and say, you have no idea. It is, I used to think a different way, but after you keep going to these houses and seeing these young dead faces, these young kids that have now died, and they'll never have an opportunity to have this or that or grow or have a child or get married or go to college. Or they said it's so hard. And then you go home and see your kid. And it's like, I'm just in terror all the time. You know, and I feel bad for these law enforcement people to not get in the business to go scoop up our kids, our dead. You know what I mean? And it's hard for them.
And you imagine what it feels like and the trauma that they feel that they got to see that every day.
Yes.
You know, just because they're in law enforcement doesn't mean they don't have a heart. It doesn't mean that they're not traumatized by seeing a young person dead.
Exactly.
You know, so it's you know, again, as a society, we really need to do something, and we need to do something fast because, you know, 2017, 72,000 people died, and that doubled from 2016. Who knows what the statistics are going to be like in 2018?
Yeah.
I'm afraid to hear them because it's mind-boggling.
Yes.
You know that it's the first time, and Tommy pointed this out to me a couple of weeks ago, the first time since the Great Depression that the life expectancy of a male in the United States has actually gone down from 78 to 76. We've never had that before, and that's because of people dying from the disease of addiction and overdosing.
Wow. That's a serious.
We shouldn't see that. We shouldn't see that. Those are terrible statistics.
It is.
But it's a statistics, and we don't want people to be statistics. We want people to live productive lives, have families, and do what they should be doing.
Yeah, and if you're going to be one that says, look, recovery is possible and I can get better. And again, I want to reiterate, a guy like Peter, we're talking to Peter Shore, CEO of Retreat Premier Addiction Treatment Centers. He puts his money where his mouth is. He supports there's a program that we have founded and is on our network, the WPSN99.com, the Problem Solving Network, right here, Steve Moderano's show, Recovery Radio. Yep. And Steve says it best. He says, look, get this number. Take this number down, put it on your fridge, put it away, do whatever. I hope you never have to use it.
But you never know. Have it.
Just have the number. And at least you have a phone number that you can call should you ever need it. So, Peter, can you please give people that number right now, please? And, of course, the people watching this on YouTube, you'll have it scrolling across the screen at this very moment when Pete gives it to you. But go ahead, Peter.
I didn't know there was going to be a test today. But it's 855-859-8100.
Okay, one more time, please.
855-859 or 8,000. You can dial.
Right on.
And they'll direct you right to our admissions department. And again, you know, not everyone will be going to our facility, but we will help you find something.
Yeah. And
that's important that you realize that you're not calling a call center for a million facilities. You're calling Retreat directly.
Right.
And we will help you any way we can. You know, I have a lot of friends who, you know, I obviously in addiction, I'm their go-to person, and I tell them all the time, look, I hope you never, ever need my services, but I'm always available no matter what. And a lot of them have had to utilize it for themselves, for their family, and for people they know, and we're there for them. And I just want people to realize that there's a lot of people, a lot of facilities like that really care and want to make a difference. Not just Retreat, but there's a lot of places like that.
Right.
And you got to find them. You got to make sure that you vet it out before you send your loved one there.
Well, we were extremely impressed. We were at the NASCAR race in Bristol the other day, and they had us get up in front of the entire all the drivers and the race teams,
the president of NASCAR,
and the president of NASCAR, the new president of NASCAR, and all that, and explain what we do. And the president of NASCAR and the president of the University of Northeastern Ohio came up, and they wanted our information. And so people are looking and searching, and if you're watching this or listening to this, just like they are now looking and searching, it's because they know that people within the NASCAR community, people within that university, they need help. But the problem is that you have such a small window of opportunity that when someone asks for help, you better be ready to respond. You better be ready to give them a trusted phone number or get them to a trusted person that they can talk to immediately, because within minutes, if we don't answer, the dope man does. And it's and so I'm gonna make one phone call, and if I don't get what I need, I'm gonna look at it like that's a sign from God that today's not my day, but I know the dope man will answer. Yep. So please be ready.
That's exactly what it is, Louis. I mean, unfortunately, you know, you get only one time to make a good first impression.
Right.
So when someone calls, you know, we need to make sure that they realize that we're there for them and get them there as quick as possible, because you know, 10 minutes later, they could be dead. And, you know, we picked up people that, you know, unfortunately, when we got there, they didn't make it.
Yeah.
We picked up people and our drivers have given them Narcan to save their life, and they were able to get to treatment or get to, we take them right to a hospital.
Right. But
they've been able, you know, they're okay today because of that.
Yeah.
So it's important that you do react quickly and act fast and make sure that, you know, you just don't wait, you know, I have to get my hair done, I have to do this. That's nonsense.
Absolutely. And it's so important. So thank you very much, Peter, for what you do.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you and Trinity for what you guys do and promoting this. And And it's always great to talk about it.
Right.
And addiction comes in many different forms and facets, and we need to talk about it and get it out there. And you guys do a great job with it. We appreciate it.
Well, I also want to thank you for coming into Orange County a little bit stronger. I met with John Chuda the other day and thanked him personally about how you guys are promoting more things here in Central Florida. The Couch Live has been on the radio since 1999 here locally, and Orange County has been our #1 sponsor since 1999 without fail. So This county loves the messages. They want more messages, and they're extremely appreciative of Retreat Premier Addiction Treatment Centers and everything you do. So thank you very much, Peter.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you for setting the tone and the culture to a place that can be trusted in a time where that's very vital.
Yeah.
Make sure you're sending your loved one to somewhere that you can trust. And so, again, check it out now when you feel like you may not need it for the time that you may need it. And if not for you, for somebody that's close to you. So, thank you very much, Peter.
Can't think of anything better to say. God bless, and thank you so much for what you do.
See you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Right, so that was Peter Shore, Retreat Premier Addiction Treatment Center. I just think they're awesome.
I mean, they're good people, man. I mean, it's once again, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I noticed that a lot of the programs that we, as the Now Matters More Foundation, affiliate ourselves with,
right?
They all have like something in common that I've noticed.
Yeah,
and that is, aside from good treatment and everything else, at the top,
and that's where it starts.
Good people,
and that's where it starts. Yeah. He sets the tone.
Yeah, they all do. Yeah,
if you have an owner that doesn't set a good culture, a good tone,
it trickles down. Man.
It trickles down.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I mean, people want to work for this man. People want to be near this man. People want to follow his lead and his guidance and his meaning and his purpose.
Well, that's one of the things.
And that says a lot about a facility.
Well, that's one of the things I like most about what we're able to do with the foundation. Yeah. Is the Now Matters More Foundation allows us to meet the owner.
Yeah.
Not everybody gets to meet the owner.
Yeah, it's true.
Not everybody gets to interact with that. They have to look at websites or take somebody's word for it or whatever.
Right.
So what I like about it is when we do make our recommendations, when we do look at it, we legitimately have met the owners. Like, I know you said when possible, but I can't think of a single place that we haven't.
The only reason I say that is because there are some owners that are maybe financially invested, but they're more like
but they're not the ones that
large
are there
business. But they're not the ones making the day-to-day decisions.
The ones making the day-to-day
So I'm just saying it because I don't use always.
We haven't met the investors.
Everyone.
Yeah.
The investors.
Yeah, we
maybe I
met
should
the
say
investors.
that.
But we've met the CEOs and owners and stuff, man. And
all the treatment centers that we deal with, we know the faces.
Yeah. No, like personally.
Put it that way.
Yeah.
There's places that I don't know their ownership real well, but they haven't gotten that referral.
No.
Hell, we went to one, and when the owners were there, we even said we'd love to meet them.
And we didn't.
And they chose not to. Therefore, they didn't get one referral.
They haven't gotten a single one.
Not a single referral. And they've asked for referrals.
Yeah. But
they were too busy.
We can't in good conscience send somebody there that we aren't 100% in.
Yeah, I mean, and all we said is, look, if we just want to know who they are, because they're the ones that are saying. Yeah.
They're the ones that set the tone.
They set the tone.
So what kind of tone are you setting?
Yeah.
Well, you're setting the tone that you're too busy to meet people who are there to promote you.
Anyone can hire a good marketing person.
Yep.
I don't want to just meet your marketing person. It's good if it starts there, but we all know the deal. That marketing person doesn't treat anyone.
No.
A lot of times those marketing people they know the schedule maybe, but they don't know what the group feels like, how they're trained and all that stuff.
It's their job to market.
Yeah,
they're all pretty good at it.
Yeah, they're all pretty good at it.
But I don't want to sell the sizzle. I want to know the meat and potatoes.
I don't either.
I want to know what's going on.
Yeah, I can get that from your website, bro.
Yeah.
I want to know you.
And what the thing I like about a lot of the ones that we deal with, both with Retreat and even Journey Peer for that instance,
right,
is they're just real, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you get them on the phone or you talk to them, they're just real.
Yeah.
And you talk and you can have real, honest, true discussions. I'm telling you, still to this day, dude, my favorite interview is Tom. That dude's just awesome.
Tom Garofalo, yeah.
And the only reason why I think he's awesome is he seems to get it, and he has no problem telling you about it.
Yeah.
And he set, like you said, he sets the tone.
Yeah.
And even Peter, I've never met him personally, but we've interviewed him a few times now, and same thing. He just gets it. And I get it even more so now. Like I said, when I saw yesterday that they even went out of their way to show all the employees. I'm talking. I saw cooks, and I saw everybody. It's like they get it.
I've been there. I was there at the year number 2 at the retreat in South Florida, and I've never felt more welcome by an entire group of staff, ever.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it was like 200 to 300 people, it felt like. And they were all there for a picture. And I was on the scissor lift. And I took that picture. And they gave me a shirt. I still wear my, matter of fact, I should have wore that today. If I would have known we were doing the Overdose show, I would have wore that shirt today. I still have my blue retreat shirt with the number 2 on it. Yeah. You're wearing your WPSN 99.com shirt today.
Tank top,
That's right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, as an owner, because I've always been the owner, I just really respect great owners and just wish, I wish the best for them. And I want them to succeed because I know how hard it is. I know the sacrifice it takes, but I also know how hard it is to not only find the right staff, but it's not so hard to keep the staff if you're doing the right things. You got to spend the money, get the right staff, but then the money will come. You don't have to lead with the dollar. The money will come, and they don't lead with the dollar. They lead with promoting education, promoting the decrease of stigma, and I think that's why they're successful, to be honest with you.
No, I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what the overdose day is about.
Yeah,
I mean,
awareness.
you can't help the ones that are already dead.
Right.
But we can help prevent new ones, and the way we do that is education.
Yeah. All right, so tell everybody about our sponsors, Trinity, so we can get up on out of here.
Well, of course, we have the ones we were just on the phone with.
Yeah.
Retreat Premier Addiction Treatment Centers. And then we also have Journey Pure, which is another fantastic facility, great owners. Matter of fact, they'll be with us in Vegas in a couple weeks.
Yep, we're gonna be in Vegas and with David Siegel, Jackie Siegel. You may know those billionaires from Westgate Resorts, where we're gonna be staying at, and again with our Now Matters More Foundation truck.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, we'll be there with of course Brett TV.
Yep.
Which if you don't know him, you know him. Yeah, you do. You know him somehow.
Yeah.
Trust me.
And Uplive. Uplive is now coming.
Yeah, Uplive is going to be there, which is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So then other sponsor, you kind of mentioned it earlier with the Orange County. Orange County Drug Free Coalition with Carol Burkett and all the team there. And then, of course, last but not least is the Now Matters More Foundation.
Yep.
If you want to kind of check out what it is that we do, you want to donate even, you go to nowmattersmore.org. You can read all about us and what our foundation is up to. And then if you or anybody you know needs help or you just want to know more about it, 833-NOW-MATTERS.
That's right.
How you get a hold of us.
That's right, and that's important. Remember, if you didn't get that number earlier that Peter said, just if you call 833-NOW-MATTERS, that's 833-NOW-MATTERS, and you want help, trust me, they're one of the people that we use. Or if you want to ask for them directly, of course, we'll get you in contact with them. The important thing is pick up that phone and do something. The important thing is that don't just sit there and think, all right, I'll do it tomorrow, because tomorrow may never come. Okay? So from all of us here on the Couch Live, adios, amigos. It's time for a taco. Goodbye.
And that was without even a single drop of rum.
That was awesome.
He really grows on you, doesn't he?